You are listening to the Growing Small Town Show, a podcast dedicated to supporting you, the person who really cares about the future of your small town. We believe when people get better, everything gets better, and our episodes offer the ideas and actions that prioritize people and small communities. Thank you for listening. We're so glad you're here. Our guests on today's episode are a mother-daughter duo, Jackie Knutson and Lisa Schulz, both natives to Oaks, and they represent two generations of Oaks folks, as we like to call them. And we decided to have these two ladies on because, well, you'll hear it when I welcome them to the show, but when I asked our chamber director, you know, who would be a great voice of kind of the greatest generation to feature on the show, and without like a second's hesitation, she said, Jackie Knutson. And I said, of course it should be Jackie. And it's really fun because Lisa is just as much of a community champion, community advocate, and all around just fantastic human. And she's a returner. So Jackie, you'll hear, has lived in Oaks most of her life. She was gone for 2 quick years. Jackie moved away and came back. Or Lisa moved away and came back, and hearing her story, why she returned, what brought her back, and also just hearing from their perspectives, what makes them love this town now, even through all of its changes. I really was excited to feature we've featured a young perspective, right? We've had teenagers, we've had just freshly graduated voices on this show, and I thought, what a cool opportunity to ask people that have lived here longer than I have and have seen more than I have, and just ask them what they love, what they wish were different. They offer great perspective, and I think you're going to get done with this episode and wish that you had them. You can't have them. They belong to us. But I do encourage you to go and find the Jackie and Lisa in your towns, because I know they're out there, and how lucky are we. So please enjoy this conversation with Jackie Knutson and Lisa Schulz. Well, welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks.
Thank you, Becky.
I'm so happy to have you two here. You're sitting in front of me in our podcast studio right here in Oaks, North Dakota.
Right here.
Right here. You two are so darn cute. I love it. You're both like, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. It's my favorite. Okay, so let me tell you why you're here. I kind of told Lisa this already, but we have had. Well, I don't know if you guys listen to our show much, but my son, we had Carter on, and that was a very popular episode. I don't know if people just enjoyed listening to me physically actually parent him in real time. But, you know, he's only 14, so just that perspective of a young kid, right? Yeah. And then recently we had JC Praska on, who's a college student, and you know, everybody wants to know, like, how do we get our young kids to come back? So it makes sense that we've done that. In talking with Kasha, our chamber director, I said, I really want to get the perspective of somebody who's lived here a long time, like the older generation of this community, and talk to them about what they're seeing, what you like, what you don't like, what changes bother you, what you're excited about. So when I said that, I'm like, who should we ask? And like, without a second's hesitation, Jackie, Kasha's like, Jackie Knutson. You got to ask her. And I was like,
I've been here forever.
Well, I said, of course we do. And so then I thought it'd be really fun to have Lisa, because so that's why you're here. And also, I just want to share with you, Lisa, I don't know if you never ever talked if we talked about this. Jackie, do you remember you reached out to me shortly after I had returned, and Lisa was thinking or contemplating coming back? Do you remember talking to me?
I don't. What
so
did I say?
The question you asked me, which is just really fun. So Lisa, I want to get your take on this. You asked me how much of an adjustment it was for me being kind of a big city girl. Like we talked about Target. You asked me like, I think she said Lisa's she's really kind of struggling, and she's not sure, she's not sure she's going to love being this far from a Target. So does
That makes me laugh when I think about it now. A Target store.
She loved
That was
Target.
my.
Well, we love Target. Yeah. But so can you just tell a little bit, maybe tell Lisa, like, how long have you been back now? Like what kind of brought you back, and then maybe how fast did you realize that you were going to live without Target? Like how quick, like how fast did you move through that
without Target?
Right,
that's always on a run.
It's a real thing, right?
We've been back 8 years now, and it was transition, but we made it through, and it was a decision based on couple things. Kenny, we had a sister in Colorado, and at the same time, that's when Mom got sick. This sister in Colorado died. So we were like, okay, we don't have anybody out here in Colorado. If we get sick, we don't have children. It kind of puts in perspective, who's going to take care of us? That sounds silly, but you have to be closer to. Our friends are wonderful out there, and we have really good friends out there. But it's like, we got to get back. And it's also, too, do we need to be back for our family, too, here? Mother and dad getting older.
Right.
I don't want it all to be on my sister's shoulder to take care of them or help with their needs. And then Kenny had Sister Gloria that was still living here.
Right.
And then, too, it's like, okay, do we need to be back there to be with them? Just like, and now when I think about all that's happened since we've moved back, we've lost both Gloria and Dennis.
Yeah.
And Kenny was able to be here, be with them.
He did,
And not even that, just have a really a close relationship again with them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen at a distance.
It doesn't, does it? And I thank you for sharing all of that. I think it's so interesting because, like, in community development talk, right? Like, we think, how do we get people to move back? Well, a lot of times it really is just about who they're coming back for and who they're coming back to be with and near. And you're an example of a couple that doesn't have children, and that doesn't mean anything to me other than the fact that it's just the choice then to come back to a small town. It's not common, but it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, like, even everything you just shared. When we moved back here, and I've been back 16 years.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, isn't that wild?
Yeah,
I've been back a long time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but and I had 5 of my 6, so I had like bonus grandparents, right?
Yeah.
I had 5 of the 6 of them alive, and they're all gone now.
All gone.
I got to be here for all of that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the same.
No.
It wouldn't. It's not the same from a distance. And again, I don't ever demonize city living. Like, people do what you want to do.
No.
But I think your story is a fun one. And again, it was just really funny because I remember Jackie being like, so how are you handling it? I'm like, well, it's a struggle.
The
some days.
non-Target still is rough.
Yeah, I know.
Because then when you go out of town, it's like, I have all these errands I got to do.
I know. And then your trips out of town are like a slog.
But as we're getting a little bit more growing in our small town, some of our things are going to go off my checklist. We have people going to school for nails.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't have to get that done when I go out of town.
I know, right? I know these things are exciting, and I know you guys are super excited about our winery that'll be coming up, and
100%.
it's so exciting.
Yes.
But okay, so Jackie, and I'll kind of come back to you a bit too, Lisa, just because you and Kenny, having been back now 8 years, again, I love that you don't have children in the sense that you hit this demographic that we don't talk about often in small towns, in the sense that, like, how do they get engaged? Where do they find community and stuff, right? Yeah. And I want to ask you about that, because you guys are also the just number one people to raise your hands and say, yeah, we'll help with that. Yeah, we'll do that. Like, I didn't text you the day that I drove by Hockenberry Park, and I saw you with a garbage bag and you're just weeding a random sign. And I'm like, God, that's Lisa.
Those weeds and that sign drive me insane. Well, weeds, period, drive me insane.
I know they do. And I love that about you. It's not like my favorite thing about you, but probably top 5.
Well, it's our welcome into Oak sign.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yes.
Let's make it look good. And if it doesn't, if the park
or whoever's
Doesn't get
supposed to.
right.
Right. Yep.
then just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that about you. Honestly, I love that about you. And that's something, again, I will make sure that everybody hears this because, like, people listen to this all over. It's pretty amazing. But it's like, maybe you're the someone, like, if you have hands, you can pick a weed. A lot of times we spend time going, well, like, why aren't the city guys doing their job? And why aren't the park people? You know, it's like, well, you have hands. Yes. And you just do it. And you don't ask for credit. You don't even really, you probably are kind of even a little bit embarrassed that I'm like calling this out, but it's just so cool because you take care of it because it's yours, like the community.
That is 100%.
I love that about you.
I want our town to look good. We are all Oaks,
We're
and
Oaks, yeah.
we take care of it. Take pride in it.
Yep.
And if pulling a weed or 10 weeds helps,
Yep.
that's what you do.
Exactly. I know. I love it. Okay. So Jackie, how long have you been in this community?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was born here in 1944 in the old hospital. Lived here, graduated from high school, and then moved to Minneapolis. In those days,
you did. I did. You know what? So this will be really fun. I'll actually learn some of your
in
story
those
because I didn't know that.
You know, there wasn't my parents had 10 kids. I was the oldest, so there wasn't the financial aid for college.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, I'll just go to Minneapolis for a while with my friends, get a job, then eventually go to college. Well, they all got married or moved away. So then I thought, well, I'll go back home and decide what I'm going to do. So then I came back to Oaks. It wasn't even quite 2 years. And in the meantime, got a job at the restaurant, just waitressing to make some money and living with my aunt and uncle here in town. And Chuck Knutson walked in for lunch, and the rest is history.
Knutson.
So then I stayed, and then we got married and worked at Red Owl. Mm-hmm. And then Lisa was born in 65. Darcy was born in 68. And yeah. So I've been here most of my life, except for that year and a half to 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love this because that just means you've seen a lot of versions of this community. When you hear people say things like, oh, well, those were the good old days, as if that's something that's time past. What do you think about that?
I usually say those days are great, but they're gone. Mm-hmm. We have to move on. My husband, I have to keep reminding you, it's progress. Even if you don't like it, things change. Like Dickie Rural, for instance, we're going to have to go on streaming. Mm-hmm. Well,
yes.
It's going to be difficult.
Dickie Rural, for everybody listening, is our internet and kind of our primary
TV,
telephone,
cable,
all of that cooperative.
Well,
and those changes are hard.
They're hard,
yeah,
especially for older people.
Yep.
So it's going to be a change. And he just today said something. Why? I said, Chuck, it's progress. It has to be. It's things change. You just have to adjust. Mm-hmm. So that part I try to say to people.
Yeah.
You know, change can be hard. It's hard for all of us, but it is inevitable.
Yeah.
There's always going to be change.
You are one of the most, and this, why I'm so happy to have you sitting here, is that and actually I'll just tell you, there's a lot of reviews of our podcast, like out on the internet. And I read one that someone was like, oh, so we're shaming old people. And I'm like, what? Oh my good. I wonder what episode that was, because if I ever said something that sounds like that, that's not how I feel.
No.
But I do know that there's a lot of times this tendency to want to group an entire generation of people together. Whether we're talking about the young bucks coming up and how they're lazy and entitled and don't want to work, or it's like the old folks are stodgy and stuck in their ways. So I really try not to do that, but I think it's always super fun to highlight somebody that completely bucks that entire, and just like you completely show up in a way that doesn't at all represent that stereotype.
Yeah. Well, I try. I mean,
you do
like
a great job of it,
it's hard,
Jackie.
But it's, it'll be hard for us to learn that, but we'll do it.
So let's just talk about even the last, because I feel this like energy of renewal and hope and encouragement in our community. Mm-hmm. I mean, aside from the school bond referendum failing, I mean, that was a blow. That was hard. Yeah. And anything like that happens that's really public, where it was fairly split, but it was just heartbreaking, right? Yeah. And people say some things that you can't walk back and all of those things, right? Overall, though, you look up and down Main Street, like our streets are beautiful. There's a lot of young families coming back and starting businesses,
That's
right?
what you just said is renewal.
Yes.
And that's a good way to describe it with all these young people coming back. And when we have family come, I always say, drive down Main Street. Look at our Main Street. It's beautiful. And they do. And I always say, yes, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
So
what are the things that in the last, let's say, even 5-10 years maybe, or what are the things that have happened in Oaks that just like tickled you?
well, this building.
Oh,
This building right here is one thing that I think is great, and I tell people you have to go see it if you haven't had a chance. So that's a good thing.
I didn't even pay you to say that.
No, but it is. It's
I could say the movie theater, the renewal of that.
Isn't
is
that fantastic?
Huge.
It is. And again, what I want to say about that too is that I encourage everybody listening to this to follow our theater's Facebook page or TikTok or Instagram, like wherever you do your socials, because that's not just that they reopened a theater. There is just an entire vibe with the group of people that work there and how they're showing up in the community.
They do those little videos they
Aren't
do are
they
so cool.
so
They're
fun?
so nice, and yeah, it's great. So, there's just a lot of things. Irrigation days has always been fun, but I don't know. It's just each year it gets a little better, I think, because with the cow pie bingo and I think it gets a little better every year.
And that is such a sweet and awesome thing to hear, because
there's always
Totally.
and you need to take part in it. So many people don't. I mean, but you need to get out there and
like go
do
to
it.
the things
Do
that your
it, 'cause
community
it's-
hosts. Yeah.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do in Oaks if you get out of the house and do it. I mean,
Amen, Jackie.
you can't just sit there and die when you get old.
And think people should come to you all the time for it.
Because you got to get out with people. Like, okay, my day today, I'll start with my day today.
Tell us about your day. I love it.
So you don't have to just sit home and twiddle your thumbs. You go, well, I didn't get to the gym this morning because I was lazy and slept in.
I usually see your face at the gym, and I love that.
But I went to quilting at church for 2 hours, came home, we had a little lunch, went to a birthday party for my sister out at Jeannie's, and it was really nice. Came to the podcast today, and I'm going to bingo tonight.
There you go.
So that's a pretty full day.
That's a
Plus
full
I did
day.
a little housework and a couple things. There's so much to do if you just want to do it. I do Meals on Wheels. I do a volunteer at church. There's stuff to do. And be around people. That's my thing. You got to be around people.
Right.
You can't just sit home in front of the TV and vegetate.
Well, yeah.
No,
go
I'm-
ahead. Yeah,
no,
go ahead,
no.
Lisa.
I'm just, again, trying to think of, like, what has changed. Without, in the last 5-10 years,
Yeah.
like, we've only been here, but it's like,
Well, you've been here for a good
buildings
chunk
and
of
stuff like
that,
but I know
right?
what I'm trying to think. You could say the schools thing, that's not changing, but it's coming to the forefront. Something is going to change there.
Something's gonna
the
push with
school-
it.
Yeah.
that better and for our future, for all these people that are moving back, for their kids and all that stuff. Things like that, and just seeing the energy of that. That's kind of the stuff that I like to see that is happening and changing.
Well, I think you're sharing a couple of things that I just want to make sure we really call out. And that's the other reason too, that when Kasha and I, what I love so much is when we host things, whether we are doing it or the chamber's doing it or any group is doing it, we can almost count on the fact that you are going to show up.
Why don't you come? Yeah. Well,
You
but
always
I like
come to
stuff.
stuff. And it seems like, I don't know, there's really something to be said about showing up, Jackie. And Lisa too, you both do. And it means a lot to the people that host things. We were just talking about it. So we've got bingo. So the youth are hosting bingo tonight. They're raising money for teen mental health. Great thing. Hosting it in this building. And the class came today. We're setting up tables. And they're like, I said, do you guys have any idea how many people you're going to get? And they're like, we don't. No. So the best we can do is say, well, the most people we've ever had at any event we've hosted is this. Right? And that's the best you can do. And you really don't know. And so it says a lot to the people that put the effort and time into putting things on when you guys show up to them. So
because
I appreciate it so much.
I feel like being involved in church and
you can step forward. Yep, there you go. Perfect.
it's hard for the people that do it to have people not show up. So I feel bad if you don't show up because somebody went to the trouble of planning this. You need to do it. And that's why I try to spread the word a little bit. Like today, I spread the word about bingo here tonight. We'll see.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, and like you said, I think the most important thing, there's kind of two things. Like people wither when they don't get out of their houses.
Yeah.
And towns wither when people don't show up to stuff because you can't keep hosting things
Nobody comes.
with 4 people showing up, right? Like at some point you go, okay, well, the community must not really want this. And then you stop.
Yeah.
And you talk about withering. That is a proven fact that social part of your life is huge for your health.
It is.
It is.
You need that. You need your mental stimulation. You need that stuff. And if you participate in all the things that we have to offer in this town, like it's like I can reference, like I was thinking about this. Okay, we were busy in a big city, but we were busy in a big city doing this. We'd go to a major league or baseball game. Well, here we go to the Legion baseball or high school baseball. We'd go to a football game, major league. Here you go to high school.
Yeah.
You know, you still are doing those things. It's just in a different way.
Well, and it's community building differently.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you can't build community in a big city because of course that's true, right? But legitimately, I'm to the point, I don't know if you ever feel this way, where I'm like, I'm not leaving the house tonight. Like, because if you're going to just step outside, you're going to run into people. And so sometimes I just need a decompression from that, right? But like, community gets built everywhere we go in a smaller community just because you run into people
I honestly feel living in a smaller town, I do more on the weeknights than I did in a big city.
Yeah, that's a fun perspective.
Well, granted, like the friends we had, they had little kids, so we weren't going to their sporting events yet. But here, you go to all that stuff. You're going to a basketball, so it's like every night of the week you could be doing something.
Oh, yeah.
Every night of the
If
week.
you wanted to be, right?
You can be involved totally. Sometimes I'll have a day once in a while when I go, oh, I don't have anything going on today. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
just
I
going to
can
chill.
Just have a me day, and still
Right.
read my book.
Yep.
But most of the time I have something going on. Something, at least 1 or 2 things every day.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what you wish we had. Are there things, and again, like, it's so funny because I'll just say, when you ask like a kid this question, they'll be like, Starbucks. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
get out of here. Like, that's not what we need, So I know you won't say things like that. Like barring the things that obviously only a big city could support. Are there things in our community that you wish were here that aren't yet? And I say yet because just saying it out loud, there might be something that gets sparked. Who the heck knows?
Just about get whatever we need here. Our needs and wants get mixed up sometimes, but
Amen.
we can usually get, you can get clothes, food, hardware, drugs, hospital care. I wish we had another doctor, which I hear maybe we're getting one eventually, an MD.
Yeah.
An MD. And PAs are wonderful
Yep.
and all that, but it'd be nice to have another MD
Yep. Fair.
that would help at the hospital, take some call. Because they do telemedicine and that's great, but it'd be nice.
Yep.
That for me.
I mean,
Yeah. No, go ahead. You're good.
it sounds silly, but again, stores, that is obviously one of the areas that is missed when you move from a big city
Yes,
to,
for sure.
like, oh, I want to decorate this or something. Well, that's getting trickier in the little town.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and that's silly, but it is also something that I wish we had. But we do have some surrounding towns that have great things. I can run to Lemoore and they have a really good hardware store that's got a great decoration area and I can get my stuff there. So we do have the areas
kind of
around
the
us
regional.
that we can
Yeah.
take advantage of and support that way too.
Well, it's really something because so just on this Monday, I had a guy on the show his name is Ben Winchester. He's a rural sociologist. He's just a fascinating guy. Like everything he says is backed up by data. And I'm like, I only back my stuff up with feelings. So it's great. He's just great. But we had I'm going to be bringing him back for like another episode talking about regionalism because they've done all this research to show just how far we'll travel. Like how far will you travel to eat outside of your community? How far will you travel to recreate? And how far will you travel for work? it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. So if you start looking at that swing, there's almost nothing we can't get. Because even Fargo is only 110 miles away.
100% true, because like I think about the cities, or when I lived in Colorado, okay, we'd drive, it took me a half hour to get into the town of Colorado Springs. I can go to another town here in that, and I don't have traffic. It's just a wide open, beautiful road.
Yep.
Why is it that if it's in a town to town to town in a big city, it doesn't seem like you're going that far? You're going farther probably.
Right.
But we will do that, but we won't go to. One night, Kenny and I had to go to Fargo. We went after work. We're after work for. It was like, well, that's a quick trip. Yep, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Especially in the summertime when it doesn't get dark till 10.
And the roads
Which
are
is
the
the
roads are
benefit
good.
of living here in North Dakota, that it doesn't get dark very early.
For sure. The one thing though is we have weather. Like,
Yeah, we
we
do.
have long winters,
Yeah, we
right?
do.
So is there anything when you think about that? Because now we're in the cloak of darkness. You know,
Yeah,
like
I know.
the nights are already getting really long to me. I'm just like, I get off of work and I'm like, crap, it's already dark.
Dark, I go to bed.
Yeah, literally, I look at my watch. I'm like, oh, it's 7:10. Great. I have to somehow make it a couple more hours here. What about the winter? Like, that's something we talk a lot about. I think isolation, social isolation, all of that is a big challenge for us in North Dakota. What thoughts or ideas do you have about what we could or should be thinking about to combat that?
Well, as much as you guys try to have things always going involved, it does get tricky because there is things to do in this town. Some things aren't always open to do them. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
if
like,
they're-
can you give me a for instance?
okay, well, it would be fun, like bowling. That's not always open.
Yeah.
And that, stuff like that is fun to do. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, the biggest challenge, right, is like, and when I was doing like the economic development officially, it was that challenge of, when do we step over and say to like a private business owner, like, hey, we can't tell people how to run their
No,
businesses, right? So we just have to kind of deal with it. But I think sometimes even just letting them know, because it's hard to open your doors and have nobody come in, and then
100%.
so
And
some
I
of it
do
is
know,
just
though,
the marketing
a lot
of
of
it.
people don't just own the business; they also have other jobs
Yeah,
too. So
right.
that is huge. I
Right.
totally recognize that.
Yep.
That is something that has to be worked with. And thankfully, we have the bowling alley, and thankfully, we have other things that you
Amen,
can do
right?
it. But just stuff like that would be to get the organized, like coming into winter, having like a like in the some towns have like a ice fishing tournament. We have that, like the Lions do things, the Snowbusters do things. So it's things like that would be fun to have something like that, like a winter celebration, we'll say, like
Right.
our irrigation days,
But in the
winter
wintertime. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting with Union Square just to see what might be able to be developed. And the thing that's cool about it too is like any group could decide to host something. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll see, what might happen. But we even talked about too, like, what if we did a winter concert series? You know what I mean? Like,
Could you see
seriously,
the
'cause,
vision
like,
of like the fire pits going somewhere?
Yep,
like
for
a
sure.
cool-
For sure. Or, I mean, even that
A
and
Hallmark movie.
we
moment.
could literally host. Did you guys come to the Two Tap Trio? Were you here for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
the vibe of that.
Yes.
I swear to you, that day I like wept in the back of my building. I'm like, this is why we did this.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing,
Yep.
just to have something
Yep.
that felt really, it felt very big city, right? But it was right here.
Right,
So cool.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's something I think we
thought
need to
those,
spend some time thinking
Those
about.
Tuesday nights in Union Square this summer
was
were great.
great.
They were great. I was at every one, I think. I don't think I
Of
missed
course
one.
you were.
But the favorite, of course, was
Tim.
Tim.
Isn't he just a
Because I
hoot?
came to his thing here.
Yes.
Yes.
And then he was there. And now I said to Kasha that day, you get him next summer.
Yeah,
Earlier.
I swear, like, he's the kind of guy. Well, I mean, he hits the perfect note
does.
for like not even just haha but bump like
I
music
know.
notes, right? But just the light razzing of
Yes.
every human
Yeah,
in the park.
I
Like I
know.
just.
He's
where you're
good.
just like, get out of here. But
Yeah.
he's so great. He's
Yeah.
perfect for this
He is.
community. So
is.
yeah, and I told her, I'm like, I don't think you would ever tire of him
I don't
because
think
he
so.
doesn't. It's not like it's a set list of jokes. He
No,
just
pulls.
He
Yeah.
pulls
pulling it out of
Right
his
head.
yep, or somewhere else,
Yeah.
Jackie, perhaps.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So we think a lot about that and just how do we use the things that we have
Yeah.
and repurpose them or do them differently.
100%.
So, okay. So let's talk a little bit more about change because I just think, again, you have decades of history in this
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
It's
I do.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything that I kind of asked this already, but is there anything that we once had that you just go, man,
That I miss?
yeah.
Yeah, something comes to my mind. When stores were open on Friday night or Saturday night till 9 o'clock, everybody'd come to town. Kids would tear up and down Main Street. Moms would shop for groceries. That was fun. That was fun. But now I don't think anybody would probably come. But that was a good time. It was a good time. You could let your kids take off and just run and have fun. And well, I happened to work at the Red Owl store, and we were open till 9 o'clock, and so it was just a fun time. That was fun. That was a good time.
You know, I've heard a lot about that. And even one of the memories on the back wall is he's talking about, I think it was Saturday nights, he said, and he would play with pea shooters. That's what he talked about, on the sidewalk in front of this building, right? So a lot of people have that memory.
And some people would bring their cars uptown in the day and park them on Main so they'd get a good spot.
Isn't that funny?
To sit and watch people or whatever they did.
I mean, that's just funny. And so the question is is there pieces of that would apply still today that we would do it, right? Because I always just hate the idea that times have just changed so much that that wouldn't fly now.
No, I don't think it would.
I don't know if it would either, but I sometimes think what if we decided to make it a thing? You'd have to get everybody on board.
That was their social media.
Social.
Before
Correct.
there
It
was
was.
social media.
Because in those days, my mom, for instance, bought groceries once a week.
Yeah, right. It was like her trip to town,
Yeah.
right?
And that was usually Saturday night. They'd bring the cream and the eggs in, sell them. She'd get the checks and buy a few groceries, the basics, because everything was homemade.
Yeah.
Canned. But yeah, and it was just a social. Dad might go in the bar and have a beer, and the rest we'd just tear around with our friends, and that's the way it was. It was a great time.
The Growing Small Towns show is recorded locally at the Growing Small Towns podcast studio located in Oaks, North Dakota. It's produced by Pheasant Canteen Studio in Aberdeen, South Dakota, with marketing support from Cassidy Johnston in Canyon City, Colorado. Our intro music was created and produced exclusively for Growing Small Towns by James Bergman, singer and songwriter from Fargo, North Dakota. Local and small. It's what we support, and it's who we love. Get your community a shout out on the podcast. Call 701-203-3337 and share your small town success that you just don't feel is being celebrated quite enough, and let us shout you out. You can also share your biggest people challenge, and we'll dedicate an episode to offering ideas to help. Hell, you can basically tell us anything, and we'll do what we can to answer. We can't wait to hear from you. Today's small town shout out is Lemoore, North Dakota, just a stone's throw from my little community. And we're shouting them out today because I actually just recently, as in the last couple of days, visited their combination hardware store and grocery store. I am ashamed to say that I had never been there until just recently. And I'd heard people, person after person, comment on what a great setup this was, the store. In fact, on this episode, Lisa talks about being able to go over to Lemoore and go to the hardware store. So I just felt like Lemoore deserves a shout out. The audacity of the person who decided that this was needed and actually went for it has offered an incredible amenity to their community, and it's something we all should note. So way to go, Lemoore, North Dakota.
I lived in, the 40s, I don't remember. 50s, I was in high school, started in 57, would it have been? Those were good times to live. They were good times to live. Nobody had a lot,
Yeah.
but it was a good time. It wasn't scary. There wasn't the things you hear now on the news and all that stuff. And I'm sure maybe in the big city there was some, but it was a safer time to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Just in general,
you
it's
trusted people. You trusted everybody. You know, it was just to me. It was just.
I can appreciate that. I can absolutely appreciate that those times felt special, you know, in a way that I don't know that we'll ever get that back. You know, there's just our phones have made, you know, and I always, of course, try to look at the positives to this too, because we're connected to each other in a way that we could never be before, right? And there's something good about that. But I do think there's some loss that comes along with it too.
When I think about when it changed, when I remember back when things started to change, was the Vietnam War.
Really?
To me, that's when things started to change.
And what did you
protesting?
Where there was
drugs,
just like this clear difference of
drugs,
almost opinion
yeah,
and how
more drugs, protesting. That's kind of when I think things really kind of started to change.
That's really interesting. I just read a book, a Kristen Hanna book called The Women.
Oh, I've read that.
I just finished that book like a
Isn't
month
that
ago.
amazing?
Yeah, and so it's all about the Vietnam War. It's a great book. But yeah, you think about it, and it's like that's what makes America what it is, right? The ability to protest, the ability to have your own opinions and whatever. Yeah. What I do think has changed a lot, though, is the way that we talk about our opinions. Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, maybe you aren't, either one of you really can weigh in on this, but like maybe you're not on social media kind of enough to let it get to you. But there are times that I see like people I really know speaking on social media in a way that I'm like, what is the matter with you? You know, like, so
I'm on social media, but when I see that, I just have to back off. A couple times I've commented to somebody, and then I'm sorry I did it, because then it opens up a whole new.
It does. So it just opens up a can, doesn't it?
Right off.
Yeah.
Although some of it really bugs me.
Yeah.
It is so sad that you see that people will say something on the social media that they wouldn't say it to their face.
Never.
Right.
And it's created such division that's sad.
It is.
We can't understand each other's point of view.
Well, we don't even try, anymore. You know,
it's either you're just wrong. You don't see my way, so you're wrong. It's sad.
And that has been a huge change in this country.
Agreed. Yep, that's not just our little town. We're just feeling it like everybody else.
It's a huge change.
Yeah, isn't it gross?
Years ago, people didn't even talk about politics.
No.
I mean,
I
it
know.
was true. I mean, your family didn't. Nobody did.
Well, and what's honestly amazing, if you've ever done even a light detox from like this or the TV even, all of a sudden you don't, like, you're less angsty.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of like, wow, I don't know. If you just look at what's right in front of you, it's not so bad. Now, I get that's not the case for all people, but, like, focus on what's right in front of you and work on what you can do. Like, our sphere of influence is first and foremost my family, right? And then here.
Yeah.
And then Oaks. I care about Oaks, right? Like, so sometimes I think we're so zoomed out that we forget to zoom in.
But don't believe that.
Right.
So many people see it online and they think it's true, and it's not, especially with AI.
I know.
Now you don't have a clue if it's even true.
I know.
If it's even that person.
I know. Well, and that's why I just think the more we can, even having conversations like this, it's important to have, different generations and different perspectives in a room talking about things, whatever even the topic is. Because I don't necessarily think like the best days are yet to come. But I think the good old days, it's like they're as good as we're going to make them.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's do everything we can to create what we want here. You know,
100. We have today. Let's
that's
make it
what
a good
we
one.
have, right?
And that's
exactly.
all we're guaranteed is today.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you about was art, public art in our community. We've got a few public murals, right?
Yeah,
Some kind of big art installations.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, I want your perspective on this, because art is subjective, first of all. But man, it's so interesting as I've watched other communities try to get murals put in, or even when we were doing the big sidewalls in the park. just how fired up people get about it? Just tell me just generally, like, what do you think about it? And if you see something that's not your cup of tea, what do you do with it? Yeah. You specifically, Jackie, just because I think it's...
when they were painting that, I thought it was fine. I just vote. I voted.
You used your voice.
I voted
right.
my voice, and I don't remember if I voted for what it was or not, but I thought it was fine.
Ask if we picked it.
I didn't comment about it, but yeah, there were people commenting about it and saying, like, no, just let them do it. I just voted, and
right.
which one I thought was the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think what happens is that people that then want to put a mural up somewhere, if they own a wall and they're like, we want to do something, they get afraid to even do it because they're afraid of that backlash. And I just think the more of us that are out there saying, well, it's okay if it's not your cup of tea. Like, as long as it's not objectively vile or, sexually explicit or some crazy thing like that, right? Then I don't know that any of us are out here looking to create any murals like that.
We loved this episode of the Growing Small Town Show. We encourage you to leave us messages at 701-203
love it,
3337.
That creates
and be sure to subscribe to our newsletter at growing-small-towns.org. In the meantime,
especially this
keep
time of the
doing
year,
what you can
look at all of that
with what you have
of color
right where you are.
It's
Community
such a
needs
refreshing to turn the corner and like there's bright colors in this time of the year.
Because we are growing small towns.
I agree.
I always have to glance at
We are growing small towns.
It was a
We're
really
right here living our
fun to
best
celebrate.
lives as crazy as it sounds. But
Definitely was a labor of love
we
for
are growing small towns. Growing
Yeah, it
small
was.
towns. We are growing small
When we laid it all
towns.
out, when we were finishing, we were driving to,
We are growing
Lincoln,
small
Nebraska.
towns.
It was a long car ride for AAU basketball. And I was just kind of narrating it all out. And it's just like pages of, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it was over a 3-year period, because you had your winters that you couldn't do anything.
Well, yeah.
But what a fun project. And that's why the whole time at the dedication, I just kept weeping. Like, oh, this is so amazing.
But
It's ridiculous.
I also had to speak my piece a couple times about people negative about that.
Yeah.
And I did. I said,
Thank you for...
don't be criticizing that. I said, look at all the volunteers that are working on that. And I'm not going to mention, of course, any names, but yeah, a couple people, I had to just put them into place. I just said, don't be letting me hear you say that because it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like this balance to me of free speech and getting to vent and share your opinions. And then just, to me, the other question is always like, who is that actually serving though? Especially if you're tearing down something that so many people were a part of and people gave money to and all those things, right? Like, I don't know, sometimes you just want to say, if you put that amount of energy of hating something into loving something, man, you'd create something great.
You have to try to remember not to spend a lot of time with negative people
Amen.
because it drags you down.
It definitely does. And it's hard. Public sector work is hard.
Yeah.
And that's why, a lot of the people that listen to the show are people that are like community development people, chambers of commerce people. And I always just want to remind them that there's people like you in every town. And so maybe this episode will be their reminder to you don't have to invite them in and have them on a podcast, but talk to them and thank them every time you see them.
I get really frustrated when I hear people making fun of our town. I've had some relatives, they come back and visit and they'll start criticizing and
What do they criticize? Can I ask you?
what's there to do here? What about this one cousin of mine, she talked about riding horse. What do you mean riding horse? I said, we have a great horse club here.
We have a horse club with a
great horse club
neat
here. They
arena.
do all kinds of stuff. They have a rodeo in the summer.
Yep.
She lives in Montana. She's a big horse. Oh, really? I mean, my aunt was still living at the time. And she said, I could tell you were getting hot under the collar.
I love that you get hot under the collar about our town,
I said,
Jackie. It
Oaks
makes me...
is a great town. We have a lot going on. We have a great school. I tell people this all the time. We have a hospital. We have a school. We have everything. It's a great little town. It's a small town, but it's a safe place to live.
Can you even imagine the impact if more people talked even 50% as positive as that. I mean, it really, because the one thing, this guy, Ben Winchester, one of my favorite quotes that he ever said to me was, people won't move to your town out of pity. So like if we walk around saying, God, this town sucks and there's nothing to do here and who the heck would ever want to move here? Well, it's people aren't going to listen to that and be like, oh,
We should go.
I think they need my help. Like that's not, people want to join something that's successful. People want to go where they can see themselves being successful.
And with all these young people moving back, which is great, and I always say we cannot have it just old people in this town. We have to have the young people here. That's the future of our town.
Well, it is. And I care deeply about making sure that you still feel like you count, that you matter. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to treat our oldest and most precious generation, the ones that we can learn so much from, right? Treat you like we're just bypassing you. But I love so much that you do understand that there's got to almost be a step aside in making room. We have to make room for these young people that are coming in. You know what? Sometimes they maybe don't know jack. They maybe don't know anything. Let them try. They'll learn. We learned, you know, and nobody actually learns by us telling them they're wrong. People don't take that in and go, oh, okay. Thank you so much for saving me from myself, right? Like people want to try and we've got to let them. We got to get out of the way and let them.
Yep. Yeah.
Was there something else you were going to say,
I was just
Lisa?
thinking a couple things when we were talking about the park. I had a thought that, you know, that place was the old Oaks Cafe where the park's at. Mm-hmm. And that Oaks Cafe was very much a gathering place. Mm-hmm. Well, how awesome that we have a park that can be a gathering place again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and for over 40 years, it sat vacant.
Yeah.
Because it burned down in 80 or
80s,
81,
I was
right?
working at the Grand Theater the night it burned down.
Were
It was
you really?
The Muppet movie. And I remember
out.
it was a movie theater full of kids. And somebody came running into the theater. The cafe's on fire. The cafe's on fire. And we had to evacuate. Yeah.
Because that just, again, for people that don't know our Main Street, that's just like a storefront between them.
Yep.
Holy smokes, that had to be kind of scary.
Yeah. And Kenny's sister Gloria owned the cafe at that time then, too.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Again,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that was, I remember, like, people, it was like, you know, tearing or pulling stuff out of the buildings around it, like the furniture store that was next to it.
Right.
My grandparents lived across the alley. We were emptying their house out. And I remember snow coming. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
was the
know.
middle of the winter,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that 81, you think?
I think
Probably
81 was
something
when we pulled up like records. I think it was 81.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very cool that it's the gathering place again.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I have like this whole building and just obviously what it does and what it is now is very different than what my grandparents what my grandparents did in it. But I just think memories, buildings, and locations hold a lot of collective memory for our community. Like it's just so special. It's so special to know that we're building new memories, you know, in this building.
Well, you would probably have the memory of this being the Pennies and coming in here and doing your shopping. So,
Definitely.
you know, the going up the steps and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
the material and stuff was upstairs.
Yeah.
They had a dumbwaiter. So you'd
I
pick
wish
out
we
your
had
stuff.
a dumb waiter.
We'd
Dang.
pick out the stuff and you'd pay, and then she'd put the stuff in. This thing
Oh,
would
yeah, it was
shoot
like
up
a
the
like a
steps.
hydraulic,
Yeah, it would
not
shoot up the
hydraulic.
steps
That's not
to
the word.
Cashier up there.
Yeah, like a chute, like a money chute. Yeah, I think I was Bonnie Maley who just her like vivid memory of watching that and how fascinated
Yeah, it
she
would
was
just
as a
zip
kid.
right up there.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, and then you remember, I imagine you remember all of the faces of this building. So you remember then when they broke it into 2 storefronts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is an interesting
It
little
was- but I'm trying to
detour in
remember
our building.
what stores it was though.
Stoics jewelry,
and
and furniture.
oh yeah, it was
Elson. Well, it was
Watkins. Watkins Furniture. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so we have all of that on the back wall,
That's
you
right.
know.
I
So if
remember
people,
reading that, yeah.
right, and you can see where it splits
Yeah.
and then where they took the wall back. It's so interesting. The basement has 3 different staircases that go to nowhere. So at one point there was 3 different places where you could come up from the basement in this building.
Wow. I could see a
Isn't that
haunted
weird?
basement happening around Halloween
Listen,
time.
we've got it pretty well cleaned out, so it's quite the basement down there.
Another space.
I know. When we took it over, my kids were they were younger, right? And they would just tear around down there. I would just be like, well, don't hurt yourselves, you know? Well, we've already talked for 45 full minutes. Is that amazing or what? Has this been painful for the two of you?
Not at all. Not
Yay.
at all.
Oh, good.
No.
I want to remind everybody listening to this that there are people like Jackie and Lisa in your town. If you don't have them, I'm sorry. Because like you guys are you're 2 of my favorite people in this community.
Thank you.
I mean it. Just in terms of every time I see you, you're smiling. You're positive.
Well,
Well,
not always.
listen,
Sometimes I'm a grouch.
you can be grouchy. It's being
grouchy
grouchy
sometimes.
is okay, but
can be a grouch.
you're not grouchy at like the world.
No, usually
and you're not running
Usually
around
not.
and you're also an advocate for this community.
I am. Yeah, I
and you
am.
actually
Totally am,
yeah,
yeah.
you actually speak out against people that are running things down for no
try
reason.
To. I try to keep positive around negative people. And it's kind of hard sometimes.
It is hard sometimes. That's why we need each other, though, right? That's why we need to keep showing up for each other. And I just think it's
I'll often say, maybe you want to run for school board.
oh, love that.
Maybe you want to run for city
Sounds
council.
like you have a lot of strong opinions about that. You should run for
Maybe you should run for one of those positions.
That is also a great answer. Like, oh, you have this many strong opinions. You want to say they're doing it wrong? Sounds like you should take a seat. Yeah, and that's just it. And that's good encouragement. Not that we necessarily want cranky people like that being in those positions, but it's like, don't run down the people. You know, right now, running for public office is just a real challenge. And I'm thankful that people even still want to do it. You know, like there's a pretty strong perspective, even in our town, where if you own a business, you shouldn't sit on certain boards. Because if you make a decision and it hurts something or somebody doesn't like it, they won't
Then
frequent
affect
your
your
business, you know? And that's something I just hope we can continue to push back against and remind people that when they're doing it because they want to make the town better, and that we should be grateful to anybody that steps into those roles because it's just not easy.
Yes, that is sad to hear that, but I've also heard it.
And seen it maybe, like seeing the actual fallout of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too bad.
So think about all the people that might be listening to this. What is the thing you most want them to know about what they can do to make their towns better? Aside from what we've talked about. Like you guys show up.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, get involved as much as you can. I mean, even, just try to be involved in things.
Well, yeah.
And stay informed.
Yes. Yeah.
that is, the informed part. That's a good point, Mother. Because even just, stay informed. You don't know what you don't know. Stay informed.
Well, and don't just take like one random comment that you hear and then run with it. Yeah. Be a good source your
When
information.
there's something going to change and they'll have open forum meetings, go.
Go. Yeah.
Go and hear what it's about.
Amen.
No, don't just sit on your kitchen table and gripe about what they're doing.
Oh man, I swear to goodness, if I could just clone you two, I would. I would all day long. Seriously. I really would. So seriously, thank you. Thank you for doing something that you have either of you ever been on a podcast before?
Heavens no.
You guys are naturals.
Teams meeting.
Podcasts, I haven't been around that long.
Well, listen, you did fantastically well. Both of you kept leaning into the one mic we had. You did great.
I feel like I'm up there on the level of like the Will Arnett. And,
Yeah, you are. Like, yes, an armchair expert or a
Amy
good
Poehler.
good hang.
Yeah,
This was a good hang. So thank you both. And honestly, I just, again, want to say it for a person that I want to take big swings for this community. I like to aim high and shoot for the moon and do these big things. And none of it could happen without great people like you.
Well,
And I would say back at you, Becky.
Yeah, back
it
at
doesn't, with people like you that do it.
Well, we can't do it if people don't show up.
Right.
And if there's not people that constantly buoy us, right? Because there are days where I'm just like, I hate everybody. And I don't actually ever hate
No, I know
hate
you
anybody, but there are days where I'm like, oh, you know?
I'm going to speak back to, I think some of my pride in our town comes from my mom. Because she was a city auditor. She raised 10 kids on the farm, got a job after we were, some of us old enough to take over a little bit on the other kids. Was city auditor for almost 20 years in Oaks. I mean, she was proud of Oaks, very proud of Oaks.
And that, yeah, and you saw that actually demonstrated to you in a very clear way. I feel like I had that example, my grandparents and the way they showed up for this community.
Yeah.
And clearly, Lisa, you had that instilled in you too. And what an amazing thing to pass on.
It is.
And you're impacting everybody around you with that same sense of pride. It's just so fun to do life with both
We
of
have
you.
family that come once in a while and visit. And one of my nieces from Oklahoma said, I have the best memories of Oaks.
I
Tearing
love that.
around with Darcy, running, chasing boys. I have the best memories of Oaks. He still tells me that all the time when I see her.
Well, and shouldn't that be the goal?
Yeah.
Is just to create great memories for people. And thank you both for supporting everything that happens in this town and being the kind of people that I love doing life with the two of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, you might have to come back now too sometime.